The purpose of this video is to show parents how to use what is called the Parent Access module. This can be accessed most efficiently through the Assignment Everywhere app, which you can download from the App Store in iOS and Android or Google Play. The view which we can see at the moment is the Parent Access section, which can be accessed through the menu. You can see on your screen there how you would access the notifications, and you can set them to pop up on your screen whenever you like. But the other way to access this is directly through the web address, which I'll put up on the screen, and that will give you exactly the same features. They're one and the same thing, except you won't get the additional benefit of getting the push notifications coming to your phone, and you have to log in every time. So this first screen, once we log in, you'll notice that the first time you log in, you'll need to verify your email address. So you can do that just by clicking and then going back to your email and verifying that this is your correct email address. If this is the wrong email address, or if you want to update your email address anytime in the future, we're going to go to the menu, we're going to go to My Settings, and then we can update things like our password or a new email address in the future if we change it. Also on this home page, we should note this little bell symbol here. If there's some sort of thing which needs your action or attention, then a little red number will appear next to this bell. Then by clicking on the bell, any notifications such as an excursion approval will be listed there, and you can click on it to go to that confirmation. So scrolling down the screen, the most important thing to notice here is the student, which will be your son. We'll have a look at that one in a second because that's where most of the details are. But there's some other general stuff on this first page which we can have a look at. So as you can see, parent-teacher interviews are accessed through here. If you click on them and they're not active, then it will just come up with a screen saying that it's not currently active. And once it becomes active, you'll be able to book your parent-teacher interviews through here. Next one is parent-notified absences. Parent-notified absences are absences that on the day you might ring up to say, for example, your son is sick. So you can enter those parent-notified absences, and you'll notice that there's a warning which I'll just point out. Absences for today can't be added after 8:30 a.m. So if it's before 8:30 a.m. and it's on the day, then you can add an absence. If it's beyond that time, or if it's for multiple days, then as usual you would call the school to make that absence. Down the page a little bit, you can see the daily messages. So in our system, which is Simon, this is a view to the daily messages which come up there. When the message is created, teachers and other staff can tick on a little button which says make this viewable by parents. So this is just where that appears. The next thing which I can see here is the calendar. That's actually quite important because it's going to show me when the different assessment tasks or class tasks are due for work for my son. So I can click on that, or I can just see the list here, or you can access additional views using this little icon over here. So you can see it by a month view or a week view or a list view. Down the bottom here, further information through knowledge banks can be obtained. So for example, during subject selection time, the information such as descriptions of subjects is available through here. And then at the bottom, we've got a couple of other handy links. Now that I've finished with the home page, I'm going to go into the details of my son. So your son's picture and details will appear along with some other key information. So I can see there's 4 overdue tasks, there's 12 active tasks, there's 10 active lesson plans, and the overall attendance. So what that means, active tasks means that when a task is coming up in the next couple of weeks, it's going to be due in the next couple of weeks, it becomes an active task. Overdue obviously means that the due date for that task has passed and the details have not yet been entered for that task. So that's worth following up. And lesson plans are, of course, a plan which the teacher has written for a particular lesson, which parents can now access. So to access this information, I'm going to click in this blue section here, and that will take me to the full details for this student. So the first page which it goes to is just some general personal details. You can review those, or we're going to keep moving on. I'll go through the items in turn. So the first one is student timetable. So I can see here in the student timetable that this boy here has had that particular teacher in this particular room at that particular time. The little red highlighted bits we can see there, that means there's a change to the normal timetable. I'm going to scroll down. Full details of the teachers and what each of those codes mean is at the bottom, along with the times for the different periods. So this is a full and active timetable. One thing I will point out is it has the actual dates on them. So if there's a particular day that has something unusual going on, that will actually be reflected in this timetable. The next one we'll look at is social behavior. So social behavior will just present as a little graph. So the graph you'll see, it will record incidents, detentions, and suspensions. The only thing it'll have here is a number. So it won't tell you what it was, if there is any. In this particular example, there are none, but it'll just present as a little bar here. If you wanted to find out what the reason for that incident, detention, or suspension is, if you don't already know, you probably will already know. You can of course contact the oratory teacher in the first instance. On to attendance. So here we record every minute, every day that your son's in attendance. So all of that information can be accessed through these various reports. Parents aren't expected to check them, but if you're interested, you can access all of these reports. I'm going to download one just as an example to show you what the kind of information you might want to get is. I'll go to this last one here. This will load as a PDF. Depending on your viewer, you'll have to download it. So here I can see all the information of every period in the day, and all of these symbols mean something different. So I can see a little P there, that means he was late to school on that particular day. The A doesn't mean absent in this instance, it actually means there was some sort of activity during that day whereby the role didn't need to be taken. An absence will actually be recorded as a 0, and you won't see them very often because usually it'll be a parent notified absence, which, as you can see from up here, is a different code. Suffice to say, if you want the information, it's available to you. On to assessment reports. Assessment reports are not necessarily in order chronologically, but they will all be available from here. Here's where I can click and download the full semester reports along with any other reports we might do. So here I can see there's a learning indicator report from term 1 week 4, which I can also access through here. Every report that your boy gets at the school during his time here will be accessible the whole time through this menu here. On to commendations. So when boys do things well, we record commendations. So here we can see an array of different things which this boy has been congratulated in getting, either through attendance or through good work or through fundraising. These different things which he's got points for will add up towards different awards at the school. We have these things called the Salesian Awards, whereby boys in later years at the school will have accrued enough points to get either a bronze, silver, or gold Salesian Award. Learning tasks. So at the moment I can see there are 12 learning tasks. Here I can see the subjects where there are learning tasks. Now, some subjects may not yet appear. It's early in the semester when I record this, and if there are no active tasks, which means there's nothing due probably in the next couple of weeks, the subject itself won't appear. But that's okay. If I wanted to find out more information, I can click and open and see the information. Once a mark has been entered, I can click on that task and look at any marks or associated information for that particular task. So there's no need to wait until the semester report comes out. As soon as the mark is entered by the teacher, which is usually a week to 2 weeks after submission from the student, the teacher will enter it in the system and it'll be available to you. If you have any questions, there's a little email symbol right there that will open up an email box where you can contact that teacher. Obviously, you repeat that for each of the different lessons. So tasks, assessment tasks or class tasks can be seen and the marks available through here. Next, I'm going to look at letters. Letters are used in some rare cases where a letter wants to be communicated and recorded to a boy's profile. An example of where a letter might be used is in the case of an instrumental report. Those are recorded in the letters section. There's some other academic letters which sometimes we use, but by and large most people won't see any letters here. If a letter does get added to your son's profile, you'll be emailed as well to notify. Onto lesson plans. Under lesson plans, I can access all the lesson plans which have been written for my son. During remote teaching, it's a requirement of the teachers to enter a lesson plan, and you can follow your son's work through the lesson plans. So if I can see here, I can see what his learning intentions are for this class, what his success criteria is, and also what his instructions are. And you can go through and view each lesson plan. You'll note that most lesson plans will have a checkpoint. Some lesson plans might even have checkpoints that parents can fill in. But usually they're for students. Students will check off once they have completed a particular part of that lesson. You can review how your son is going by checking these checkpoints, checking the lesson plan, and you can also access any resources which have been posted as part of the lesson plan. Emailing staff. As I can see here, I've got a list where I can email all the staff who take my son for something. So you can see if I click on them, I can tick their names and enter a message. That message will be sent to those staff via the system. So this is an easy way if you want to send a group mail to all of or some of the teachers of your son. Onto the medical profile. Medical profile you probably already know about because you would have been able to you should have been able to access this in order to enter any medical information. It's important to remember here that if anything changes or you need to update anything, you can update that at any time. This must be reviewed at least every 6 months, but as soon as anything changes, it's a good idea to update it in the medical information. This is what we at the school access, and so there's no lag in between you putting in information and it being accessed by the school. Next, when we have a look at sick passes, this is basically where we can review if there have been any sick passes submitted for your son, and if there has, what the details of them were. So if you went to the office feeling ill, a sick pass would have been created with some details, and you can access that through here. School activities. When there's an excursion or an activity that requires your permission, this will be recorded here. You'll click in that activity, scroll down to the bottom, and give permission in that way. If you want to review any activities that you have previously approved, then you can also access them through here. They'll all be recorded in the system. Finally, we've got NAPLAN. So no NAPLAN is available for this particular student, but as that information is taken, it gets recorded in our system and is accessible to parents through here. So that concludes an overview of the features of PAM, which, as I said, can be accessed through Simon Everywhere. If you have any problems logging in, please contact support with the email on the screen at the moment. And don't hesitate to contact teachers and other staff if you have any further questions about your son's learning. Thank you.